Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us for our Environment Committee meeting. And I'm hearing feedback on my own computer, and we're gonna fix that right there. Thank you again for joining us for our committee meeting. It's Friday, March 8th, 2024. It is 10:05, and we are in room 2B of the Legislative Office Building. I'm House Chair Joe Gresco. Our goal today is to allow all committee members the ability to record their votes on the bills before us. As you know, a public hearing follows this meeting, so depending on the length of this meeting, we'll address some logistical matters later on this afternoon. It's the intention of the chairs to hold the votes open for an extended time to allow members who have other meetings and personal events their ability to cast their vote. I envision recessing the public hearing later on this afternoon, plus or minus 4 o'clock, reconvening this meeting that we're about to start and are starting to allow those who need to cast their votes virtually the ability to do so on this same Zoom link. That's the whole idea behind this, is that we don't have to go switching back and forth. We'll stay here to make it easier for members and also our clerk. Following that break, the committee meeting will conclude, and we would reconvene the public hearing. Needless to say, if you're here in person, you can vote with the clerk if you missed anything. So with that little bit of housekeeping, any comments from the leadership team of the committee? Representative Callahan.
Thanks, Representative Gresco. And just driving up today, I thought about years ago, I testified before this committee, and I was wondering why everyone wasn't always sitting around the table at the same time. We are people. Sometimes we have to eat and go to the bathroom. And sometimes there are other people who have personal issues and they're voting, they're doing it from home. Also, several of us are in 2-3 committees at a time. I know I have judiciary going on at the same time. We do have to go back and forth sometimes. It's not that we're not interested in your comments or why you're here, but it's a matter of necessity. I just wanted to remind everyone we're very interested in everything that's going on here and the people that have taken the time to testify. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Callahan. Representative Palm.
Thank you, everybody, for being here, and happy International Women's Day.
No clapping, please. Thank you. I mean, as much as I want to clap myself, and we're not clapping. Thank you very much. I don't see Senator Harding. Senator Lopes is running just a tad late. So we're going to start right off. Without objection, the creation of a consent calendar to be considered. Is there any objection to creating a consent calendar? Seeing no objection, Mr. Clerk, please note the creation of a consent calendar. And without objection, I'd like to place items number 1, which is Senate Bill 194, item number 3, House Bill 5225, item number 8, House Bill 5216, item number 10, House Bill 5222, and item number 11, House Bill 5227 on the consent calendar. Is there any objection to presenting or placing those named bills on the consent calendar? Seeing none, we will vote on that later on in the committee process. And also another housekeeping note for everyone at home keeping score. We are holding item number 9, which is House Bill 5219. Let's get right to the Roman numeral 3 on the agenda. House Bill 5214, an act concerning Batterson Park, is a straight JF to the House floor. I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair. Is that it?
Wait for the motion. So moved.
Moved by Representative Callahan, seconded by Representative D'Amico. The bill, you have to get the right folder here. The bill requires the Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, the City of Hartford, and Riverfront Recapture to enter into an MOU about the care, maintenance, and operation of the park that is located in New Britain and Farmington, but owned by the City of Hartford. The MOU may authorize Riverfront Recapture agents to enter into and maintain areas of the park. It also provides that DEEP will give Riverfront Recapture a grant each fiscal year to care for and maintain the operation of the park. The bill increases the passport to parks fee that people registering vehicles in the state must pay by 50 cents per registration cycle, beginning in fiscal year 2026. And it allows Batterson Park to have access to that passport to park funding. Any questions or comments on the bill? Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would like to introduce a motion to strike section 3. I move adoption of the amendment. When the vote is taken, I request that it be taken by roll.
Motion made by Representative Anderson, seconded by Representative Episcopo. Has the language been provided to the clerk in our LCO?
No, but it's just a strike. No language of section 3.
The motion has been made to strike section 3 from House Bill 5214. Any other comments or questions about the bill? Representative D'Amico.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am going to speak in strong opposition to this amendment. With all due respect to my colleague who just offered the amendment, I think this committee struggled for years with ways to fund the operation and maintenance of our beautiful state parks throughout the state of Connecticut. We finally reached an agreement a few years ago to rather than be at the whims of the annual budget process, we finally reached this agreement to have this Passport to the Parks Fund instituted. It has served us well for many, many years. I tell people in my district, and I will tell the whole state of Connecticut, this is the best bargain in the state of Connecticut. For $5 per year, you can go to any one of the 130 state parks in Connecticut every single day if you would like. Every single day for $5 a year. And all we are proposing to do in section 3 is to increase that from $5 to $5.50 in the next fiscal year. That is still the best bargain in the state of Connecticut. We saw testimony on this bill from Commissioner Dykes last week, and in her testimony, she noted that the Passport to the Parks Fund is in danger of becoming insolvent as soon as this year. If that fund becomes insolvent, we have a big problem on our hands. And it's a problem that we solved about 5 or 6 years ago. So I am in strong opposition to this. It is a minor increase to what is the best bargain in the state of Connecticut. And I think it's really short-sighted, and I'll be voting no. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative D'Amico. Any other comments or questions on the bill? Representative Cooley, followed by Representative Piscopo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Overall, I'm very supportive in this bill, but I have a huge problem in section 3 specifically, in the part in which they tie the passport to the park fee to reflect changes in the CPI. Constitutionally, that's a no-go for me. The power to tax resides in the legislature. This is deferring that power to a statistical construct. We are elected to represent our public, our constituents. The power of tax has always resided in the legislature. I have huge problems turning that over to a statistical construct. That is not what a constitutional republic stands for. This is the Constitution state. I view that portion of the bill to be crossing a very red line constitutionally in terms of power of tax. I cannot support that. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Cooley. Representative Piscopo, followed by Representative Anderson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just in favor of this amendment, and we're not asking a lot. It's just to keep the passport to the parks fee where it is. You know, we're not asking to repeal the passport parks fee at all. I think we've all been inundated by members of our constituents that are having problems with passport parks. When this went in, there's bound to be unintended consequences of a program, and there has been. I know a lot. All of us must get calls from constituents that own more than one vehicle, so they're paying for, like, they own 2, 3 vehicles. They're paying 2, 3 times to the passport to parks fee. I don't think that's fair. Our veterans used to get a free pass because because they served our nation, and now they're paying passport to the parks. They would like an exemption on that too. I think that's an unintended consequence. So there's a lot of problems with the passport to parks program that we probably should work on. This is just asking you not to raise the fee or put it to the CPI. It's just an ask, and we could address that later. As far as the commissioner's testimony, I didn't ask her about this. My mind was on another bill she was testifying on when this was up, but I'd like to see the documentation on where this money is being spent. It was supposed to be for the upkeep of our state parks, and that was laudable. You know, I had problems with it in principle, because I think it could have been privatized and done a much better job by going that route. But we chose the passport to parks. It went through in a budget. I voted for that budget. But my point is that money has been just redirected. It doesn't go to just upkeep of the parks, and that's probably why the insolvency is in front of us. So it's been misspent, and I'd like to see documentation on that. I should have asked for that. I saw some documents on where that money was going about maybe 4 or 5 years ago, and it wasn't being applied, in my opinion, to park upkeep. So we're not asking, I want to vote for this bill. I like Batterson Park. But it's got a bad section in it. Please, indulge us. Just let that section go. Indulge us for this. Just get rid of this section. I want to vote for this. It's a great park, and let's try and help it. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Piscopo. And to be clear, for our clerk and our LOCO, the motion to strike in section 3, based on your testimony, is for item number 2 under section 3, correct? It's not the entire section 3.
That's correct.
Okay.
Oh.
I want to, right. So what I'm saying is, you want to strike lines 64 through 72, or you want to strike subsection or the section 3 from 42 on,
I would say the whole section, Mr. Chair.
from line 42 on,
Yes.
which would do away with the Passport to Parks program altogether.
Well, if that's the intent, we just want to do away with the increase. I mean, it's a verbal motion. We did.
Okay. I'm just trying to be clear for everyone in the room. Representative Anderson, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I do support the rest of this bill, the state assuming responsibility for Batterson Park. I'm a big fan of our state parks. I would happily pay a user fee far more than the Passport to Park fee. But the Passport to Park fee is not a fee, it's a tax. It goes on everyone, even those who don't use the parks. Motor vehicle registration fees are already high enough. I've seen them as high as $220 for just a car. The people of Connecticut are taxed enough already. We got this way by that phrase, it's just a little increase, and little increase on little increase makes us one of the most taxed states. I put in a bill this year to get rid of the $40 emission exemption fee. The statement about this fund being insolvent, it's a rotating fund, and there's a lot of discretion how to use it. I'd like to see the fund audited since its beginning. I fear that all it did was replace appropriated funds from other sources that were, so overall, Deep got less money or the same amount. It wasn't necessarily a net increase. So I support this bill if we can remove the section that increases the passport to parks fee, and that would do the adjusted cost of living increase with it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Anderson. Representative Dillon.
Thank you very much, and good morning, Mr. Chairman. And I think if we want something, we should pay for it. And I think it's misleading actually to pick out some things that you like and say they'll be free, and then there are always going to be winners and losers in the budget. Having said that, I think some of the comments made this morning really deserve our attention, especially Representative Piscopo suggesting the dollars are not being correctly spent. We do have cognizance over that on the Subcommittee on Conservation and Development. Some of our members here today serve on that subcommittee. I think it's appropriate for us, whatever happens to this, and I oppose the motion but having said that, whatever happens, I believe that we should look into how the dollars are spent and remind the members this proposal came from a Republican and we embraced it, and the Passport to Parks programs. And I don't really care. The good ideas are good ideas, but it was not a partisan matter in the beginning. So I would suggest, Mr. Chairman, that we do follow up on how the dollars are spent, and that we look at whether or not our state auditors have already looked at this.
Thank you, Representative Dillon. Representative Palm.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. The Passport to the Parks program costs about $15 over 3 years, which is the cost of 2 lattes at Starbucks. And I think those of us who represent the state owe it to all the voters of the state, all the citizens, including veterans who use the park to maintain these beautiful assets. This one-time charge that's spread out over 3 years is vastly less money than paying a $7 fee over and over and over again every weekend. That amounts to hundreds of dollars a year. So the simple math of this is, whether you call it a tax, a fee, a gift to the state, it is a bargain no matter how you slice it, and our parks need it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Palm. Anyone else with any comments? Representative Piscopo for the second time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the second time. I appreciate your indulgence. Just very, very quickly, before this program went in, they did offer a passport to the parks. You could buy a passport for $15, the price of probably a latte and a half, and go to any park you wanted for the entire year. It was a pass. I used to do it every year. I used to buy that passport. It gave you a free admission to any park in Connecticut. So we could get back to that. And thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Piscopo. Any other comments or questions? Representative D'Amico for the second time.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just for clarification, could you state what the motion is so everyone in the room knows what we're voting on before we take the vote on this amendment? I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative D'Amico. The motion is to do away with the increase of 50 cents to the Passport to Parks program and subsequent attachment to the Consumer Price Index. Am I correct? Basically, Section 3, item number 2. But they're saying lines 42 through the end.
Mr. Chair, are we voting on lines 40 through 42 to the end, or are we voting on to strike line 65 to the end? I'm unclear.
Representative Anderson.
We didn't have an opportunity to do a written amendment, so it's just the intent to, as you stated it, to strike the increase in the fee and the CPI.
So that would be lines 64 through 72. Brad?
It would be strike entirety of section 3. I think it's easier to say. the
Okay.
entirety of section.
Strike entirety of section 3.
There you go.
So we're voting to strike all of section 3.
Correct.
Okay,
That is the motion.
then I am even more in opposition, but thank you.
Thank you, Representative D'Amico. Thank you, Brad, for the clarification. Any other comments or questions on the motion to strike section 3 from the proposed bill? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Roll call vote on Amendment A to House Bill 5214. The amendment is to strike section 3 from the bill. Senator Lopes,
No.
Representative Grasco,
No.
Senator Hockendahl,
Senator Hockendahl votes no.
Representative Palm,
Palm votes no.
Senator Harding, Representative Callahan,
Callahan, yes.
Representative Anderson,
Yes.
Senator Armour, Representative Arseno,
Arseno votes no.
Representative Baumgardner,
No.
Representative Chafee,
No.
Representative Cooley,
Cooley, yes.
Representative Dancho,
Dancho votes yes.
Representative D'Amico,
D'Amico votes no.
Representative Dillon,
Dillon votes no.
Representative Dubitsky,
Yes.
Representative Felipe, Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston, no.
Representative Harrison, Representative Horn,
Rep Horn, no.
Representative McGee,
Representative McGee votes no.
Representative Michelle,
Michelle votes no.
Representative Mashinsky, Representative O'Day,
O'Day votes yes.
Representative Parker,
Representative Parker votes no.
Representative Piscopo,
Piscopo, yes.
Representative Rader,
Representative Rader votes no.
Representative Reddington Hughes,
Reddington Hughes votes yes.
Representative Reyes,
Representative Reyes, no.
Representative Ryan,
Representative Ryan votes no.
Representative Sanchez, Representative Smith,
Smith votes no.
Representative Veach,
Veach votes yes.
Representative Leaper.
Representative Leeper votes no.
Nine and 19.
Mr. Clerk?
In the yeas, 9, in the nays, 19.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. The amendment fails. On to the underlying bill, 5214. Any other questions? Representative Cooley?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As I mentioned during the previous amendment vote, I have a very specific issue with section 3, part 2. So I would like to offer an amendment to strike the end of line 69 to line 73 in its entirety, beginning with every 2 on line 69. And that would remove tying the increase of the passport fee to the consumer price index.
Second.
Motion made by Representative Cooley, seconded by Representative Anderson. Do you have a electronic or written copy for a clerk, or is it just a verbal?
It's just a verb.
Okay. The motion has been made to the committee stand at ease for a moment.
Mr. Chair-
Representative Cooley.
Mr. Chair, I've been informed that I should withdraw the amendment for legal reasons, and I concur, so I withdraw the amendment. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Cooley. To the underlying bill, House Bill 5214. Any other questions or comments on the underlying bill? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Roll call vote on House Bill 5214. The action is a JF to the floor. Senator Lopes,
Yes.
Representative Grasko,
Yes.
Senator Hockendahl, Representative Palm,
Palm votes yes.
Senator Harding, Representative Callahan,
I do still have some issues with it, but I am going to vote yes today.
Representative Anderson,
No.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Artseno,
Arceno votes yes.
Representative Baumgardner,
Yes.
Representative Chafee,
Yes.
Representative Cooley,
Representative Cooley, I'm going to vote yes at this point because I support the bill, but I will be considering offering the amendment that I withdrew again on the floor if we reach that point. Thank you.
Representative Dancho,
Rep. Dancho votes yes.
Representative D'Amico,
D'Amico votes yes.
Representative Dillon,
Dillon votes yes.
Representative Dubitsky, Representative Felipe, Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Harrison, Representative Horn,
Horn votes yes.
Representative McGee,
McGee's a yes.
Representative Michelle,
Rep. Michelle votes yes.
Representative Mashinsky,
Mashinsky votes yes.
Representative O'Day,
Representative O'Day votes yes to get it out and hopefully have further discussion. Thank you.
Representative Parker,
Representative Parker votes yes.
Representative Piscopo,
Piscopo, no.
Representative Rader,
Representative Rader votes yes.
Representative Reddington Hughes,
Reddington Hughes votes no.
Representative Reyes,
Representative Reyes in the affirmative.
Representative Ryan,
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez, Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Veach,
Veach votes yes.
Representative Leaper,
Leaper votes yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Again, as a reminder, we will hold the votes open till approximately 4 o'clock this afternoon. So individuals that wander into our committee room can vote in person with our committee clerk. But those virtually will be able to cast their votes when we recess the public hearing. Next item on the agenda is House Bill 5224, an act concerning the protection of spiny dogfish. The bill exempts certain prohibitions from anyone who is licensed or permitted to take sharks who separates a fin or tail from a lawfully landed shark when preparing the shark's body for consumption, trade, sale, distribution, and the like, but generally prohibits possessing, selling, offering for sale, trading, distributing in the shark finning business. This is a JFS to the House floor. The only change from the original language is the bill's title, which has been changed to an act concerning shark finning. Any comments or questions? Representative Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and I certainly appreciate Representative Michelle looking out for creatures in and out of the water. And I have spoken to fishermen on this. Shark finning, there's no market for it in Connecticut, but I do understand what you're trying to do in trying to protect the sharks or the dogfish, whatever you want to call them. I think it's already a done deal. We already are protecting them. There's no market for these things, but I do understand what you're trying to do, and I'll listen to the rest of the debate and decide what I'll support. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Callahan. Representative Michelle, followed by Representative Dubitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you for raising the bill, Mr. Chair. Thank you for your work on this bill. And I'm wholly supportive, of course, of this effort. It's important to codify what we are already consider as law. If it's not codified, then questions can be risen and it could cause confusion. It's always good to put more details in our statutes. And I look forward to continue the discussion about this bill. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Representative Michelle. Representative Dubitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At the public hearing on this, I asked a couple of questions about how a fisherman is to handle these types of fish. I didn't get a clear answer on that. It appears to me that these fish are that you're able to legally fish them. And if you're able to legally fish them and you bring them home and you cut them apart to eat them, there is a fin. Unless the S language significantly changes that, which I don't think it does, there's still at least in my mind, a confusion as to what you do with this fin when you've legally caught a fish that you intend to eat. Can you not eat the fin? Are you supposed to throw it away? Is that possession of a fin? Don't know. Is there some clarity in that in the S language? I don't think so. Are you in violation if when you've got this fish that you're about to eat, is there some violation if you take the fin off of the fish? Understandably, we would like to prohibit people catching fish, cutting the fins off, and then dumping the fish back in the water. Well, why don't we ban that? As opposed to possession. So unless I hear a good explanation and a good description as to why my fears are misplaced, I'm going to have to vote against this. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Dubitsky. Any other comments or questions on the bill, House Bill 5224?
Yes.
Representative Dillon.
Thank you very much. I'll vote for this to get it out of committee. I'm not persuaded that we need to create a cause of action for everything. And perhaps these dogfish are different from the ones I knew when I was growing up, but I understand that it's well meant and I'm willing to support getting it out of committee, but I'm not totally there. So, but I will vote yes today.
Thank you, Representative Dillon. Seeing no other hands raised, will Mr. Clerk please call the roll?
Could you repeat who moved the motion and who seconded?
I need some coffee. The House Bill 5224. I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Done by Senator Lopes.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Michelle. Thank you for those of you that are keeping track. Now, Mr. Clerk, will you please call the roll?
And is this motion for JFS or JF language?
A motion to JFS to the House floor.
Okay. Roll call vote on House Bill 5224. This is a JFS to the floor with LCO 2778. Senator Lopes. Yes. Representative Gresco.
Yes.
Senator Hogedale. Representative Palm. Senator Harding, Representative Callahan,
I'm a no today. Thank you.
Representative Anderson,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Valentino,
Arsenio votes yes.
Representative Baumgardner,
Yes.
Representative Chafee,
Yes.
Representative Cooley,
Cooley votes yes.
Representative Dancho,
Representative Dancho votes yes.
Representative D'Amico, Representative Dillon,
Yeah,
Representative Dubitsky,
No.
Representative Felipe, Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Harrison, Representative Horn,
Horn votes yes.
Representative McGee,
McGee votes yes.
Representative Michelle,
Michelle votes yes.
Representative Mashinsky,
Mashinsky votes yes.
Representative O'Day,
O'Day votes yes.
Representative Parker,
Rep. Parker votes yes.
Representative Piscopo,
Piscopo, yes.
Representative Rader,
Representative Rader votes yes.
Representative Reddington Hughes,
Yes.
Representative Reyes, Representative Ryan,
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez,
Representative James Sanchez votes yes.
Representative Smith,
Representative Smith votes yes.
Representative Veach,
Beach is a yes.
Representative Leaper.
Leaper, yes.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Again, a reminder, we will be holding the votes open until about 4 o'clock this afternoon to allow those individuals virtually who didn't have a chance to vote now, a chance to cast their votes. The next item on the agenda is House Bill 5223, an act concerning minor revisions to agriculture-related statutes. I will entertain a motion to JFS this to the floor. Moved by Senator Lopes, seconded by Representative Callahan. I know. Quick summary of the bill. Section 1 contemplates that a business may conduct commercial kennel grooming and or training services. The bill also expands a municipal pounds use of spay or neuter vouchers. Another section defines the Coggins test for use with equine infectious anemia. It also removes a requirement that the governor's 8 appointees to the Milk Regulation Board be confirmed by either chamber of the General Assembly. Of note, it seems that the objections that we heard in the public hearing by those involved with the kennel industry have been appeased, and we did remove the section that had the definition of animal. Any comments or questions on the bill? Representative Dubitsky.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, last year, we had a bill which addressed the definition of kennel and commercial kennel, and it was negotiated for many weeks, lots of different stakeholders involved, and we eventually came to a conclusion as to what it should be. And my understanding is it passed both houses, and as far as I know, was not vetoed by the governor. If you wouldn't mind, Mr. Chairman, how does this change in definition play into the bill that we passed last year?
Representative Dubitsky, the language of this bill revises the definition of grooming and training facilities. If you recall from the public hearing testimony, much of the concern came from individuals that had dogs at specific shows on location, and those groomers being used at individual events on location. There was a question about whether they had to be licensed, but I did receive correspondence from both the Department of Agriculture and the AKC saying that they have met and discussed the intent of the language, and both sides are satisfied.
Okay, well, thank you for that. The change in the wording, adding the word local, as opposed to, I think it used to say commercial. My understanding was that was intended to exclude essentially, or capture, as the case might be, private household breeding facilities where a family might have 2 or 3 litters a year. And that's sort of the intent of the word local. But is this doesn't change what we passed last year, does it? This kind of takes that definition and brings it into other aspects of the statutes. Is that correct?
It's my understanding, Representative Dubitsky, it's my understanding that these are 2 different licenses. Last year, the section that was amended was local kennels for people breeding multiple litters, not the grooming facilities. That's the difference, and having requested that the conversation between DOAG and the kennel groups happen, they have worked out their differences.
Okay, so do I interpret it correctly that this takes the language that was worked out last year and just brings it into and moves it forward into an additional type of license?
Say that again, please.
Does this take the language that was worked out last year and passed last year and apply it to a different license than was than it applied to last year?
No, sir.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your answer.
No, Representative Dubitsky.
Okay, then what does it do?
It contemplates that a business may conduct commercial kennel grooming and or training services, revises the definition of grooming and training facilities. In doing so, requiring a business to receive each appropriate license. It also states that a grooming facility, which is any place maintained as a business where dogs are groomed, includes a vehicle or a trailer used for the grooming business. Your reference to last year, we changed the breeding kennel definition to local kennel. Section 2 of this current bill, 5223, is conforming to that law. The grooming kennel is for commercial kennels.
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was talking about section 2. So it essentially conforms the language to what we passed last year with the word local.
That I would agree with you with.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments or questions about House Bill 5223? Seeing none, will the clerk call the roll?
Roll call vote on House Bill 5223. This is JFS to the floor with LCO 2777. Senator Lopes?
Yes.
Representative Gresco?
Yes.
Senator Hockedale? Representative Palm? Senator Harding? Representative Callahan?
Yes.
Representative Anderson?
Yes.
Senator Anwar?
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Hartseno? Representative Baumgardner? Representative Chafee? Representative Cooley,
Cooley votes yes.
Representative Dancho,
Yes.
Representative D'Amico, Representative Dillon,
yes,
Representative Dubitsky,
Yes.
Representative Felipe, Senator Gaston,
Oh, I'm here.
Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Harrison, Representative Horn,
Rep. Horn votes yes.
Representative McGee,
Rep. McGee votes yes.
Representative Michelle, Representative Mashinsky,
Rep. Mashinsky votes yes.
Representative O'Day,
O'Day votes yes.
Representative Parker, Representative Piscopo,
Piscopo, yes.
Representative Rader, Representative Reddington Hughes,
Reddington Hughes votes yes.
Representative Reyes, Representative Ryan,
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez,
Representative James Sanchez votes yes.
Representative Smith, Representative Veach,
Rep. Veach votes yes.
Representative Leaper.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Again, holding the votes open until later on this afternoon. The next item on the agenda is House Bill 5218, an act concerning the establishment of riparian buffers and revision of certain inland wetlands provisions. This would be a JFS to the floor. I will entertain a motion. Moved by Senator Lopes, seconded by Representative Callahan. The bill allows DEEP to use state funds from the stormwater infrastructure account to acquire conservation easements along streams and rivers and to require the property owner to maintain a buffer along the stream or river in a vegetated condition. This is for those property owners who wish to pursue this. It also asks DEEP to develop mandatory setbacks for development near streams and rivers and inland wetlands. We are one of the few states, especially in the Northeast, that do not have these setbacks. The bill also requires DEEP to update its comprehensive training program for inland wetland agency members to include all applicable statutory changes and common law developments. If you've been paying attention, you realize that there's also a bill in planning and development, House Bill 5170, that does something similar. So we will be monitoring that. And then this bill, 5218, requires each agency member, inland wetlands agency member and staff to take that training program being updated, and that the training be taken once every 5 years. The JFS, the difference in the language is that the vegetative condition now includes in lieu of athletic fields and golf courses. It also takes into consideration that if an inland wetlands commissioner is an attorney with experience in inland wetlands, they would not have to take the class. And then lastly, the change is made that if not all members of the Inland Wetlands Commission from a specific municipality did not take the class, it would not invalidate the action of the committee. Any questions or comments? Representative Callahan.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the explanation. A concern that I have, and actually some of my colleagues have talked to me about, was the mandatory setbacks being developed by DEEP. So it would make setbacks mandatory for any people who new development or, and I know you're a wealth of information, but may not know it off the top of your head. So new development and for renovations of, it would require that.
Yes, the idea being that DEEP would convene a working group with entities like the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities and the like to see what the ability is to have setbacks going forward, knowing that a one-size-fits-all idea for setbacks is has to take into consideration. And of course, it would be going forward with the idea that if and when they did come back with these recommendations, they would have to go through reg review.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other comments or questions? Representative Dubitsky.
I'm quite concerned about mandatory setbacks, and if a person owns a piece of property that they figure they're going to build a house on or do something else with, and we suddenly impose mandatory setbacks. First off, the question becomes mandatory setback from what? From a pond, a stream, wetlands, a puddle, a drainage ditch. Especially on farms, it gets very tricky because a lot of the ditches are man-made to move water from one place to another. Is it just wetlands? Well, farmers farm in wetlands all the time. I'm very skeptical about mandatory setbacks. That's why we allow our local municipalities to regulate through their inland wetland and watercourse commissions, because they know the individual municipalities, they know the topography, they know the drainage, they know the how the water moves in their town. And for the legislature in any way to just wave a magic wand with a big broad stroke and say everybody's got to have a mandatory X from this or that type of wetland or watercourse or soil. I think we have done our job by empowering the municipalities through their wetland agencies and their wetland agents. We've already done it. And I think that if we are going to take that power away from our municipalities, we will be doing the people of this state a grave disservice. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Representative Dubitsky. Representative Callahan.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for the second time. This may be helpful in me trying to clarify it to myself, maybe able to do so over the committee. The way I understand it is if setbacks are proposed, it would come back to us. And it would also have to go through regulations review for clarification and approval. Is that correct?
Representative Callahan, thank you. At least regs review from what I can ascertain, and realistically going forward, I can't speak for DEEP doing their due diligence in creating these, but I would think that it would be going forward, and it would be very, if not impossible, unwieldy to do a setback for an existing property or facility.
So if I could, Mr. Chair, just to follow up on my question. So I believe I'm reading, in reading the language, it is saying that setbacks would be sent back to the Environment Committee for approval. So is that not the case?
If I look forward to entertaining that when the regs have been, developed by DEEP, but according to our LCO, it is coming back to the Environment Committee as well. So yes,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
thank you. Any other comments or questions on House Bill 5218? Seeing none, will the clerk please call the roll?
Roll call vote on House Bill 5218. This is JFS to the floor with LCO 2776. Senator Lopes,
Yes.
Representative Gresco,
Yes.
Senator Hockedal, Representative Palm, Senator Harding, Representative Callahan,
Callahan, yes.
Representative Anderson,
Yes.
Senator Anwar,
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Representative Arteno, Representative Baumgartner, Representative Chafee, Representative Cooley,
Yes.
Representative Dancho,
Yes.
Representative D'Amico,
D'Amico votes yes.
Representative Dillon,
Yes.
Representative Dubitsky,
No.
Representative Felipe,
Felipe votes yes.
Senator Gaston,
Senator Gaston votes yes.
Representative Harrison, Representative Horn,
Horn votes yes.
Representative McGee,
McGee votes yes.
Representative Michelle,
Rep. Michelle votes yes.
Representative Mashinsky,
Rep. Mashinsky votes yes.
Representative O'Day,
O'Day votes no.
Representative Parker, Representative Piscopo,
Piscopo, yes.
Representative Rader, Representative Reddington Hughes,
Reddington Hughes votes no.
Representative Reyes, Representative Ryan,
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez,
James Sanchez votes yes.
Representative Smith, Representative Veach,
Veach is a no.
Representative Leaper.
Representative Piscopo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to switch my vote to no, to the negative.
Thank you.
All set, Mr. Clerk? Thank you. So a little bit of housekeeping here. We are going to recess the Environment Committee meeting at 11:03. We are recessing the Environment Committee meeting. And what's going to happen now is we're going to convene the environment public hearing. Once we can get our technology up to speed with us. Yep. And then when we convene the public hearing, we will immediately recess it and go back to the committee meeting for legal purposes.